Hello, welcome back. Today I will show you the advanced, little bit more advanced Cloud Code using Cloud Code as an agent, right? So what we have is, if you can see my screen, right? I'm going to show you my current website, right, which is Vibe the Coder, right? So when I started, I just put the lessons here. I put something. I thought I'll ship 12 lessons, right? Then it was very unstructured. I did like a prompt for building a Brewlog Cafe landing page, right? Then I did a prompt for build your own creator site, which is my Vibe the Coder site itself, right? This site itself, right? So then I kind of also started teaching Agency in a Box, right? That's a series, that's a complete course in itself, right? So it doesn't match up with lesson 1 and 2. So I told Cloud Code, okay, this is, we started with some idea, but now, the idea is a little bit more, we want to structure it better, right? So I told him, okay, what did I tell him? See, this is the prompt I gave, right? By the way, while we are at revamping the site, because I was asking him to make some changes, Cloud Code to make some changes, let's look at lessons page. Maybe we do not have to follow YouTube tutorials. Maybe we have more structured courses. So one course could be basics of Cloud Code, right? The other course could be Agency in a Box, right? I said, I'm confused. Help me brainstorm a little bit, right? It says, yes, you have outgrown the flat 12 YouTube lessons model. Moving to distinct courses is the right call. And it also sets up your real business. Agency in a Box becomes a structured product. Basics of Cloud Code becomes a separate kind of a course, right? So then it's like, it says, okay, let me rebuild it. Well, let me ask him to build it. And let me show you currently what it is, right? This is my flat structure today, which is laid out in lessons. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, please. Ahead and the revised layout. Okay, so remember, very interesting, right? It can analyze the site, it knows the lessons, it knows what is on the site, it knows what looks good or what doesn't look good, it knows what I am thinking because I already tried to convey. And it also knows that I'm a little confused. So it has to give me some insights also. So, this is where, if you're very certain of what you want, you can tell Cloud Code, okay, this is what I want. And that's perfect, right? But a lot of times, if you're not certain, right, it's always good to start with questions. Rather than telling what to do, ask questions. Let's figure it out. Because one way AI is good at is also, remember, it has tons of data, tons of metrics, KPIs, tons of signals. So it is, it's far, obviously, I'm not trying to compare it with human brain, right? But remember, how much data can you process in your mind, right? AI, it can process tons and tons and tons of data at the same time, right? So it is, for that reason, it is very powerful, right? Now, if we compare AI with a human brain and we are comparing apples with oranges, so that's a wrong comparison, right? Okay, so it's saying, okay, we are taking the site from a flat list of videos to a real structured catalog of courses. And you will watch Claude do the information architecture rethink, build the new layout, and keep the old page safe until we approve it. Okay, so it's working on it, right? Also remember, it is smart enough. I told him, okay, let's use this as an opportunity to create it as a lesson. So it knows I'm trying to showcase this as a lesson to you all. So it is smart enough to tell me on camera framing for the students in one line. So I didn't ask for it. It actually is giving me, so it helps you, people who are watching it, in trying to understand exactly what we are doing. So AI keeps amazing me day by day. I'm a big fan of Cloud Code, but again, I don't like comparing. I think all these large language models are great, right? And obviously, Cloud Code for coding, I find it really, really good. Okay, so let's look at, let's do a preview before it updates my live site. Okay, let's go here and okay, so this is my new courses page, right? It can move from lessons to courses, pick your path, start building, right? So now this is the new page. One is Cloud Code Basics, flagship is Agency in a Box. What we will do, explore the program. Then more courses coming, right? Let me start the basics. Okay, so that's okay. That's just okay. Okay, great. So this is the layout. I actually love it, right? So I'm gonna tell it. Remember, right now, if you go to my live site, this is the site, right? Home, lessons, and lessons is like, these lessons, right? So this is very unstructured. So I'm going to tell it, I love it. Thanks. Please ship it. Okay. Ship it means it already has it is already connected to my GitHub. So it's going to push the code to GitHub. My GitHub is already wired to Cloudflare pages, that's where my website is hosted. So within few minutes, my live site we should see courses here instead of lessons, right? And we should see this structure here. Okay, so let's see that happening. So again, see that scaffolding, all that thing, you should take some time to do it, right? It is very easy, right? What it requires is you just create a GitHub account. GitHub GitHub is going to be free for you guys, right? Unless you go for enterprise level, which you don't need to, right? So you don't even need teams and stuff like that. So just go create a free account on GitHub, create a token or a key there, right? Ask Cloud Code itself, okay, help me connect to my GitHub. Give me the steps. It will give you the steps. Go follow the steps, right? It will even tell you, use this link and create a token or create a key, right? Depending on different platforms, they support different things, right? But one way or the other, you give it to Cloud Code. Now remember, when you create a token or a key, right, don't paste it into the chat, right? What you need to do is ask Cloud Code, okay, it will just guide you. The safest is to kind of keep it in .env.local and just do a .getignore so that those things don't get shipped. You don't want to ship your key to GitHub, right? You don't want it stored on GitHub, right? So the key stays on the server side, right? So that is those are some security things. Once we get to the actual, how do we ship an app? How do we look into security? We'll get to all those, right? But again, in that meantime, just ask Cloud Code to guide you a little bit and, just provide the key, right? And you should be good to go, right? So it will, all your local code will be connected to GitHub. And from GitHub, I will have to create a lesson on how to connect Cloudflare pages or Vercel to GitHub, right? And that's the other thing. Or what you could also do is create a free account on Vercel and give Cloud Code itself the API key for Vercel, same logic, same everything. It will directly push it to Vercel so you can preview the site, right? Now, third thing you could do is like Cloudflare pages is also, I'm a big fan of that, right? So you could actually create an account on Cloudflare pages, ask Cloud Code to help you. Again, same logic, give the API key. It will do everything, all the configuration, everything for you, right? Now, even if you have to point your actual domain, which is, let's say mine is vibethecoder.com, whatever your domain may be, that is also easy. It will help you agentically do it or will give you the steps to do it on whatever your domain registrar is. Let's say GoDaddy or Network Solutions, or it could be anything, right? So, okay, let's see where we stand right now. And guys, I know some of it we are just talking. If you join my community, we will keep posting lessons on how do we wire GitHub, how do we wire Vercel, how do we wire Cloudflare, benefits of each. We'll keep adding content which is practical, and you need it for actually building apps and shipping them. Okay, so you're not just learning, you're learning basics also, but you're also learning to actually build production ready apps at minimal costs and shipping them, right? So that is the promise of this channel, that we will build together, we will improve together, we'll learn together, right? Obviously, I have built 4 or 5 apps in the last 2-3 months, so I have good experience, and then I have a lot of experience over the years in technology, but not as a coder, right? Not as a software developer, right? So today, the barrier to be a good software developer or a designer or an architect is the barrier is pretty much gone if you have the passion, right? You don't need to know coding, you don't need to know Python, you don't need to know JavaScript, you don't need to know anything for that matter. The only thing you need to know is learn Cloud Code, adopt one platform. For me, it's Cloud Code, and then keep getting better at it, right? I released one video which is Kaizen principle, and I follow it in my daily life. And the simple principle is follow it to try to improve 1% daily. So you don't have to go literal, right? It's not easy to measure 1%, but the logic behind it is, continuous improvement. Don't procrastinate. Don't sit, right? Try to learn something daily. If daily is not practical, then maybe, every other day. Maybe try to do 5 minutes every day. Maybe try to do 10 minutes every day. Some days when you really are more interested, you do 20-30 minutes, right? Don't try to do 8 hours. Don't try to do too much. You'll get burnt out, right? But the idea is try to learn something every day, right? That is continuous improvement, right? So, remember, the sum is always greater than the parts. So anyway, let's see where we stand. The agentic behavior this lesson showcase was, first let's go to the site and see if it is updated. Okay, so see, it updated to courses. Let's go here, and this is the same. See, this is the local, and this is localhost. It shipped it, and it's now live on my domain, right? And I like it, right? So cloud, and it also wired Cloud Code Basics. It wired some of the previous lessons which I had for Cloud Code Basics, right? So it wired that. Let's look at agency in a box, right? So it has some of these modules, right? So let's look at this one. Pick a niche. Okay. Right. So this is the portfolio and foundations, right? These are the different lessons, prompts which we shift all around. Okay. So this is great, right? Now let's go back. So the agentic behavior this lesson showcase for your narration, information architecture rethink, restructure a flat list into a course catalog, not just edited text. Non-destructive preview first, right? It showed me the preview first, right? Once I approved it, I asked it to ship. Content migration, it actually moved everything. Look at this, right? So when it gave me on the local host, right? It just gave me some prototype, right? But here, this is, okay, now it's kind of linked it. But if you remember, originally, these were not linked, right? So it also went ahead and linked. So go to courses. See, these buttons, it already linked to all the programs and all the lessons which I had already created. See, all these lessons and everything, it's all linked. So it went ahead and did the content migration. It kind of safe link surgery, so it already connected all the links accordingly. And then he verified the chip, right? Okay, so I think this is again a great lesson on how to make your life easy. Imagine this, right? Maybe up to a year ago, or maybe even 6 months ago, right, when agentic behavior didn't exist, right, just doing this kind of work, right, was just days, right? You just the design itself, then thinking about what to do, then restructuring it. You would maybe do WordPress, you would do maybe React, you would do HTML, CSS. It would require you to really put together thought and code right now, and a lot of it is just knowing what you want to do. It not just gives you ideas on what to do, it does it for you, right? So this is the pure, like, this is the perfect example of how to use Claude Code agentically. Again, when you use it agentically, you have to be very careful about security, and you have to be very careful about the boundaries. Maybe I will create one video in this. So see, my course here is this one, Claude Code Basics. So here I will definitely add, maybe sooner than later, a course on security, how to ship your keys, right? How to save them, how to protect them. And I will also do a lesson on boundaries. Like, I'll give you an example. I was shipping an app on the weekend when Fable 5 was released. I was so excited. I'm like, let me just build one of my apps which I'm very passionate about. I'm like, okay, let me build that, right? So I built it in a day, right? I gave Claude Code access to Key.ai. Key.ai is nothing. It's a marketplace for different models, right? So I could use Suno for music. I could use 11 Labs for voiceover. I could use Sora 2 Pro. I could use VO3 for videos. I could use Nano Banana or GPT-4o for images. So point is, I can just give the Claude Code the key to my account, and I can ask him to create videos or music or whatever is needed for the app. So I brainstorm and I tell him, okay, go ship, right? Or create. I had $50 in my account. In 4 hours, those $50 were gone, right? Good thing is they were used for good use, right? Because we created almost 400, 500 images, some videos, some promotional videos. We created some songs, a lot of voiceovers, so the app was like a pretty complex app, right? So it was good use, right? But I was still shocked that it never gave me any hint that we are using that many credits and things like that. So only when it was fully exhausted, it told me, hey, we are out of credits, right? I'm like, what? Right? So the good thing is I only had $50, right? Imagine if I had $500 and it kind of it's just going not crazy, but think it's like, it is thinking it is doing the right thing, but that may not be in line with your budgets or your motivation, right? So you always have to be very careful what access you are giving it, what instructions you are giving it, what guardrails you are setting, security itself, right? So I will do that next, and please watch that carefully. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. This was a great lesson.